Daniel Kinahan packs a heavy punch in the world of boxing, having managed some of the biggest names in sport and having launched one of its most influential companies, which is MTK Global. Outside the sports game, the native Dubliner has managed to make a reputation as a heavyweight in a more dangerous arena. The authorities in Ireland, the US and other countries accuse him of running a global narco cartel along with other members of his family. Recently, the US Treasury Department sanctioned Kinahan with 2 relatives and 4 associates and pledged to use every available resource to dismantle the Kinahan's networks. And according to an investigation funded by the European Union, at the core of the cartel's operations are dozens of front companies that help move different kinds of narcotics and launder the proceeds from their sale. The inquiry found that the group followed the Mafia's example, setting up food businesses to move narcotics and launder dirty money and use real estate investments to hold the goods. The leaked records have said that Kinahan set up several companies that share some of these characteristics in the UAE, which is a federation of 7 Persian Gulf states which includes Dubai. This was achieved with the approval of local authorities and the help of up to 2 local intermediaries who became the on-paper owners of a majority share in the businesses. Moreover, Kinahan and his younger brother established Dubai companies to trade items such as food, clothing and textiles, and then provide business services, incorporation documents and other records. The brothers also formed management and aviation consultancies in Emirati free zones with areas with business-friendly tax policies. All were created with the help of Dubai partners. The leaked records obtained by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists also describe previously unknown links between MTK Global, which promotes boxers worldwide, and Ducashu Consultancy, a critical Kinahan company that the US has sanctioned. Moreover, the UAE is home to a thriving trade in financial secrecy. It allows owners of shell companies to hide away their identities and has created internal free zones that give more jurisdictions to hide within a shadowy and disorganized regulatory system. And with the heavy media coverage of the Kinahan narco cartel, UAE authorities made Daniel Kinahan and his younger brother Kinahan Jr. form several companies, resulting in them being low risk. For years, despite allegations of a transnational criminal organization, Kinahan lived an active public life. Daniel managed some of the world's premier boxers, including Tyson Fury, who is a 2-time world heavyweight champion, and he mingled with royals and politicians. On social media, he poses before shimmering skyscrapers, in state-of-the-art gyms, and by azure waters. He co-founded MTK Global in 2012 and set up a boxing base in the Emirates. The company, which has operated in 11 countries and represented several top boxers as well as mixed martial arts fighters, was not accused of wrongdoing by the American government and was not listed among the sanctioned companies linked to the Kinahan. MTK Global has said that Kinahan is no longer involved in the firm, a contention which others in the industry have disputed. Many media reports have linked the cartel to the boxing business. The firm announced that it was ceasing operations, stating unfair scrutiny and criticism after the American sanctions were imposed on the Kinahan family. Now, beyond the creation of the Dubai companies, the Emirate has been a personal safe haven for Kinahan and his associates. The leaked records obtained by ICIJ have information about apartments and offices tied to Daniel and Kinahan Jr. 6 of the 7 Irish nationals set in the US Treasury Department sanctioned statement have addresses in Dubai. Senior Gardaí have long been concerned at what is seen as a passive response by Dubai law enforcement as the Irish, British and Spanish authorities were looking into the leadership of the cartel based in the UAE. However, in April, when US law enforcement announced financial and travel sanctions against the Kinahans, Christy Kinahan, with his sons, along with 4 of their associates, and the UAE followed up with the same sanctions just weeks later. The agreement between the UAE and Europol, which was signed recently, comes 3 months after a Garda liaison officer was arranged in Dubai. And while each of the developments is regarded as incremental rather than very significant, they signal a change in approach by the Emirati authorities, who've declined to put in place formal extradition procedures with the EU. While the Kinahans have grown their drugs wholesale business and money laundering network from southern Spain for up to 15 years, they relocated to Dubai about 7 years ago. At the time, their fight with the Dublin-based Hutch faction strengthened. They were under intense investigation by Irish, Spanish and British law enforcement, and moving to Dubai was seen as practicing the cartel's leadership beyond the reach of European law enforcement. Gardaí are hopeful that one of the Kinahan associates, Dubliner McGovern, may be deported from UAE under a special once-off arrangement mirroring that of the deportation of Mafia figure Rafael Imperial last year. Also, the UAE has frozen the assets of the Kinahan narco-trafficking gang, adding to foreign pressure on an organization that has deep ties with boxers and promoters at the highest levels of the sport. The Gulf state said it continued investigating the Irish organized crime group in parallel with authorities in the US, UK, Ireland, and Spain. The report of the asset freeze on one of Europe's popular crime syndicates comes after the US Treasury imposed sanctions on the Kinahan group and 7 of its members, including its Irish leaders, Christopher Kinahan and his sons, Daniel and Christopher Jr., who are based in Dubai. The US also put a $5 million price on the heads of Kinahan Sr., better known as Christie or the Dapper Don, and his sons. The US accused the Kinahans of smuggling narcotics into Europe and engaging in money laundering, frequently using Dubai as a facilitation hub for its illicit activities. The US imposed sanctions on 3 companies linked to the clan, including a management consultancy controlled by Daniel Kinahan and a sports management company owned by one of his associates. 2 companies, Hupo Sports and Ducashu General Trading, are based in Dubai. The US also indicated that Daniel Kinahan resides in Dubai's Palm Jumeirah. The sanctions on Daniel Kinahan, who has denied being a crime boss, have rocked the sport of boxing, where he'd been credited with advising fighters and setting up bouts. Tyson Fury, the world heavyweight champion, said this week that the sanctions were none of my business. Daniel Kinahan has advised Fury in the past, but the boxer said he had not done any business dealings with him for a long time. In 2020, Fury thanked Kinahan for setting up a contest against rival Anthony Joshua. Matches never took place. Fury and Kinahan were photographed together in Dubai in February. MTK Global, a boxing agency co-founded by Daniel Kinahan in 2012, said on Wednesday that it was shutting down following US sanctions on the Kinahans. It said it had faced unprecedented levels of unfair scrutiny. The company, which has not been sanctioned, parted ways with Kinahan in 2017. The cartel, which emerged in the late 1990s, operates across Ireland, the UK, Spain, and the UAE. Irish courts have branded it as a murderous organization involved in the international trafficking of drugs and firearms, the US said. In response to the UAE move, Ireland's Minister of Justice, Helen McEntee, said, "The net is now clearly tightening on the Kinahan organized crime group." The UAE has come under increasing scrutiny from Western partners over its record in fighting money laundering. Last month, the Financial Action Task Force, a global financial crime watchdog, placed the UAE on its grey list, stepping up its monitoring of the Gulf states' efforts to stem flows of dirty money. Dubai, a playground for the rich, has also attracted organized criminal gangs from the UK, India, and former Soviet states. A combination of weak enforcement and investment opportunities for foreigners in sectors such as real estate and precious metals has created the perfect haven for criminals, according to a Carnegie Endowment for International Peace report. The asset freezes targeting the Kinahans forms part of a drive to clean up the UAE's reputation and enhance cooperation with international law enforcement. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments. If you liked today's video, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be always updated with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.